Hello there, and welcome to this goal setting and awareness workshop. I'm really excited to have you with me today, and I really hope that some of this is going to help you think in a totally new way about really what success is. You see, I'm 28 years old and I started business when I was 24. My story is, my name is Pip. When I was 24, my father died. Suddenly he died from smoking all his life, and basically I came to realise that not only was he possibly not the person that I thought I'd known all my life, but he hadn't really lived his life. And I always remember my mum saying that I was exactly like him, and I really decided that I really didn't want to live or even die like him, and something needed to change. So after quite a traumatic, I would say at least a year, going through quite a lot of things mentally, I decided to start my own official business. Now, I had started businesses before this. I was lucky enough to have an event in my life many years ago now, about 5 or 6 years ago, where I moved to Wales, and I came to live with a family member, moved out of my family home, really hadn't experienced much of living away from home before, and basically my life was not in a good shape. So I was living in a flat with my brother. We had hardly any furniture. We had no sofas, anything like that. I didn't have a bed. I was sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag, and I had a box to put my things in, and my brother kindly emptied a small plastic unit with plastic drawers in it out of the bathroom, and he gave that to me so I could put my things in it as well. Now, he wasn't in a good space, and I really didn't know where I was. I was in a tourist location that had completely shut down for winter. I didn't know anyone. I had no support there, no friends. I didn't even know where the nearest post box was. I wasn't really too used to things like shopping on my own and things like that. And when I eventually started to get a new job, which for me, thankfully, was at the beautiful National Trust Botanic Garden, my life really started to change. So two things happened. One, I came in contact with a group of people who were doing what they wanted to do in life. You know, they were doing things because that's what they decided to be on purpose. Gardening is a very mentally, physically, spiritually and emotionally taxing, challenging and rewarding job from what I have seen, and just being in that environment I think really changed me. I was with people who are always kind of looking to create things, and that for me was quite unusual in the adult world. I'd always been around people who didn't really enjoy their jobs. You know, at school nobody really talked to you about their jobs, it's just what's going on at school. And you know, my life was kind of changing. The other thing that changed was, so I did start a little business. I started a cleanies business, kind of like the Avon catalogue. You know, you go around, get the catalogues, get some orders in, and that was extremely short-lived. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but that really started my business adventure. So fast forward from 24 to 28. So I'd made a good start in April 2018, and of course coronavirus and things like that, and I'd kind of gone up and down the level. So I was doing things, wasn't doing things, doing things, wasn't doing things, and I basically went through a very excuse me, turbulent 2019. I had about 8 different jobs, very kind of confusing, very kind of lost, didn't know who I was, had a lot of mental health issues, as I've had kind of throughout my life. And it really got to a point where I just tried a counselling course. I thought I wanted to do counselling. Maybe, you know, I'd kind of stop my businesses. I have an Amazon part-time business that I'm still doing, but I wasn't really enjoying it, wasn't really getting anywhere, wasn't my passion, and I was thinking, you know, I'm 28 years old, I spent all this money, all this time, I'm not getting anywhere, I have no results to show for it, and I don't really want to do it. What do I do? And that's when I discovered Bob Proctor and Kim Calvert, who are now my mentors, and thinking into results. Now, I am a student of the Proctor Gallagher Institute, and I just want to first introduce you to my 2 mentors now. So this is a screenshot, then this is actually from a YouTube video. So here we have Bob Proctor, who is animatedly telling you about what success is and the way to achieve success with ease and flow. And of course you have Kim as well. Now Kim is, that always happens, Kim is Bob's #1 consultant. Now Bob has a lot of consultants, and something that they're teaching me is that success is actually a science. It's not a, you know, it's not a potluck. It's not kind of because you're born into it, because you got lucky, you were in the right place at the time, the right time. Some people are, but to have sustained success in terms of feeling abundant, feeling wealthy. I don't know how many of you have seen Earl Nightingale's Stranger's Secret. It's available on YouTube. Earl Nightingale is considered one of the founding fathers of personal development. And Bob Proctor actually went to work for the Nightingale Institute after becoming very successful himself, because he wanted to know why. Why was he so successful? You see, what Bob had done over 50 years ago was he had basically made a dramatic change in his life. Here was a guy who was earning £4,000 a year. Now, as I say, this is over 50 years ago, so things are very different now. But he owed £6,000. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you owe 1.5 times your annual salary? And you are trying to live, you're trying to afford petrol, you're trying to afford go to work, you're trying to afford to keep your mental health. And in, I think it was just less than a year, Bob Proctor went from earning £4,000 a year to earning over £1 million a year. Dramatic changes. Now, you've probably heard about some of this with Tony Robbins, who did something similar. You know, you've got people like Dean Graziosi. You know, you've got people like Henry Ford, who had very, you know, I think it was a couple of months schooling, and yet went on to build a car, you know, manufacturers that's still going, Ford cars. You know, people who didn't come from the best circumstances, but they ended up doing incredibly well. And Bob Proctor said it took him 9.5 years to figure out what he had done. How had this happened? What had changed? You see, he said that what he had done just did not conform to his beliefs. He said he believed, he was told that if you don't have any schooling, you can't be successful, you can't win. And he said, but I won. And he said, I was also told that, you know, if you have no business experience, you can't set up a business. He said, I was operating businesses all over. I had in Boston, I think he had one in New York. He said he had one in cleaning company in England as well. That's where he started, a cleaning company. He expanded outwards. And of course, today he's a multi-millionaire, teaching people how to think into results. Now, I just want to clarify this for you. So there's a bit of an introduction there. And now to talk a little bit about Kim as well, because Kim is, as I say, my mentor. She's helping me access Bob's training and helping to explain it to me. And Kim was 28, my age, when she began with Bob. And what happened to her is she was a clinical nurse dealing in mental health, and she went into the pet shop one day to buy her Jack Russell some food and realised that she could not afford the dog food. She was standing there with £4.20 in her pocket, and her life was not good. She was in toxic relationships, she said. Just things were not well. She was earning the money and it was going out as soon as it was coming in. And she knew that she had to change. She knew she had to change, and she's made drastic changes. Kim today, you may not have heard of her, but she is, I believe she's a millionaire. She's certainly got the cars and the house to go with it anyway. And she's certainly got the lifestyle in terms of she is doing what she wants to do. And that is a true value of success. Earl Nightingale said that success is a progressive realisation of a worthy ideal. Whether you want to be a gas man, you know, in UK of course we call that, you know, petrol station. If you want to be that person and you are doing that, then you're successful. It's not about the fast cars and the houses. It looks all good. You still have to get your car cleaned and, you know, your house dusted. So we just have a bit of a confused reality about success, and I really want to start that there, because a lot of quote unquote successful people have all these material wealth, and it's really not the only definition of success. And I think the truth is about success, if you can still have success where if all those things are taken away from you, then that's the true definition. If you can still be within yourself and say, I know I'm enough, I feel abundant, I feel prosperous. If you have control of your mind and you can do that no matter what life is throwing at you, I think that is the definition of true success. And the more I kind of speak to people who have acquired all this material wealth, and sort of watch their videos on YouTube and things like that and listen to their audio, and the more I come to realise that actually that is a true definition, and I think we are grossly misled in the Western world. So I just want to start you off on something which Bob read to me through one of his videos. Now, he doesn't know he was talking to me. He has absolutely no idea who I am. But this is something that really helped me. This is going to be an extract by the book U Squared by Pritchard. U Squared. What does that mean? Well, if you think about maths, U squared is U times U. When you square a number, you times it by yourself. So, for example, 4 squared is 16, 10 squared is 100. What are U squared? What are U squared? If you could multiply your results by your results, where would you be? And Pritchard published this book, U Squared, in 1994. He's still going today. Today, I think he's about 79, I think he is. I'd have to check that. He was born in 1941. But regardless of the facts, I would like to read you this extract because it's something that woke me up because I was trying really, really hard. And some of you might have something that you really want to do. You've already decided to go. Some of you listening to this or watching this might have no idea. And I really, really think that it might help you because it brought something to me that I did not know. And here it is. So this is called A True Story. I'm sitting in a quiet room at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful little place, hidden back amongst the pine trees, about an hour out of Toronto. It's just past noon, late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The whining wings tell a poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder. Excuse me. But it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it will be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different? How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offered the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise of getting what you want out of life. In fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. Now, when Bob read that to me, I must say, I sat there and was really a little bit shocked by what he said. I didn't realise that in my life I had been taught that trying harder is the answer. You know, I tried out hard at school, I got good grades. Okay, I got what the teachers wanted me to get, and what my parents wanted me to get, I'm not sure whether it's what I wanted to get, because I really didn't know where I was going. So trying harder might not be the solution. Interesting. Now you see, the fly is unaware. It has no idea that taking the path of least resistance, which is what Kim and Bob teach me, could get you the same or even better rewards than the path I was following and seeking. Now that might go against the grain of what you think you know. You see, we get so hooked up on an idea, and I know this because I have an affiliate marketing business where I set up everything and I'm good to go, and I stopped. And I'm desperate to go back to it. And I've been taught that actually that might not be the way. Now that causes a lot of confusion, because a lot of times we've spent so much time and energy on a project, really trying, maybe for years, maybe even decades, trying to follow the path that we think we know, keep going, overcome all these hurdles and difficulties, and then to be told that maybe that's not the right way takes a lot to absorb. Now, as I say, Bob and Kim have taught me that success is a science. And if success is a science, that means that pretty much anyone can do it, you know? Because science is methodical. Science has a set formula to it. Certain things have to happen in a certain order in order to achieve the desired results. And they said to me, you can do this in any area of life. And I said, well, I'm not sure I believe that, but it obviously worked for you guys, so maybe there is something in it, you know? What I'm doing is possibly not working. What you guys are doing obviously is working. I see the results. And even in the short time that I've been with them, I've had a lot of awareness. And the first thing they really helped me focus on is goal setting. Now, where do goals come from? Well, I don't know about you, but I have done a little bit of goal setting in school. Most of you have probably heard of SMART goals, you know, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. And that's a great formula. I think it is a great formula. The problem is, so many of us go and when we put specific, we put down something that we don't really want. We put down something that we think we should want, or that other people think we should want, or that we think we should want, but we don't really want. I'm going to get into goal setting later on in the video. You know, goal setting, none of us were really ever taught properly how to do this. It's not taught really in schools. I remember setting goals at the start of the year for lessons and French and things like that. And I remember once sitting there writing a goal, thinking that, oh, this will be what they want me to write down. And then, of course, never looked at it again. And we go through school and we don't set goals because we just turn up and the teachers teach us the lesson. And then we go to university and we turn up and we do the assignments that were set. And then we, you know, kind of get a job and go to work. And our dreams are things like, oh, we achieve, you know, the grades, we achieve the university degree, and we achieve getting the job. And that's fine, but it's not very specific, you know. I'm sure when you ended up in a job, you didn't specifically know that you were going to choose that particular company. You didn't sort of design the job and then go out and look for that specific job. It kind of happened where you saw a job and you were like, oh, that's kind of what I'm looking for, let's apply. And I think so many of us, especially the adult population, we go through life and we kind of like have an idea of where we want to be, but we're not really specific, we're not really clear. And I didn't realise I was doing my goal setting completely the wrong way around. I either had no goals or weak goals, or goals that I thought I should want, but really, if you were to ask me in my heart, I was like, no, I don't really. And of course that creates a lot of confusion, because then you're then trying to push towards goal, going, yeah, I want this. Your conscious mind is saying you want it, and really in your heart you're going, I'm not really inspired. The head and the heart issue. And really this comes down to a couple of things. Now, all our thoughts exist in the mind, and it's said that the great thinkers of the past disagreed on many things, but one thing they did agree on is you become what you think about. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And what he meant by that was your whole thoughts control you, but it's not really what you consciously think, it's what's going on the heart level. Now we call that our subconscious. And you might think, well, I don't really believe this, I'm able to make my own choices, I'm free thinking, I choose what I want to do, I choose what I want to do and I go out and do it. That's fine. But you still have certain beliefs and habits that are controlling you. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to make a very simple example. So you are not thinking about blinking. You are not thinking about breathing at a certain pace. You are not thinking about all the amazing chemical processes that are going on in your body. That's all happening automatically. So there is a part of your body that is controlling certain things without you knowing. And it does the same for your thoughts. Now you might have certain things that you believe. For example, in the Western world, we tend to believe that we should eat 3 meals a day. Now there's no scientific proof for that. There's other cultures that don't eat 3 meals a day and they're perfectly fine. You might believe that you can't get by without a certain level of income. You might believe that that you need to have a super clean house all the time because that's who you are, that's your standards, that's your level. And these things are basic beliefs, and they control you, they'll control your behaviour. If you believe that you want your home to be clean, that's your standard, that's what you were brought up with, or something that you decided later on in life, and you come in and your house is filthy, guess what? You're going to clean it. If you're not really that bothered and it's just not a priority for you, you have other things going on, you weren't really brought in an environment that was that clean, you were taught that dirt is good for you, it'll build your resilience, that sort of thing. And if you come home and your house is a little bit dirty, you might clean it at some point, but it's not going to be the first thing. Same way with eating. So there are certain people that have this belief that they have to be healthy. They're very conscious about what they put in their body. And other people who are not that bothered, they know that maybe they should eat healthy, but they don't really believe that it's that important. They know they've been told on a logical level it's important, but in their heart, it doesn't really matter, let's go and have a fry up because I enjoy it and that's what I like to eat. There's some basic examples. Now, something that I was taught was that many years ago, there was a psychologist, I think it was called Thurman Fleet, and Thurman Fleet said that a lot of things come from the mind. We just discussed that. Now you and I think of pictures, we think in pictures, sorry, and if I was to say to you, think of a really tall building in France, you know what that is? Think of a large grey elephant that was giving it away. Think of a large animal with a tall neck that lives in Africa. You know what that is. And I want you now to hold that picture in your mind, okay? And then now I want you to think of your fridge. I want you to tell me if it opens on the left side or the right side. Now you probably in your mind there went to the fridge in your mind and opened the door. Which way does it open? Does it open this way or that way? Now I want you to think of the mind. What do you see? Probably nothing. Some of you might say the brain. The mind, we think, lives in the brain. We're not quite sure. No one has ever had an autopsy after they've passed on where we've gone, yes, that's a liver, yes, that's a brain, yes, that's a mind. Two things we have never found in the human body, the human soul and the human mind. Okay, yes, and yet it is obvious that we think, okay? It's obvious that we have ideas where we go, oh, well, thank you very much, that's really helpful. And so, many years ago, this psychologist, Thurman Fleet, said, in order to eliminate confusion, I will draw a picture of the mind. This is what he drew. Now you might think, what the hell is this? Okay, I'm not drawing this because I think that you have a big head and you need to work out more. Okay, this is the mind. Now the body, this is the body, is the instrument of the mind. Your thoughts dictate what you do. Okay, if you think you're not really bothered on a heart level, your subconscious, about eating healthy, then you're going to go to the fridge, you're going to get out the bacon and the eggs and the sausages and you're going to go fry them up. If you're really conscious and it's in your subconscious mind, your heart level, that it's really important, you're going to go to the fridge and you're going to get out your salad and start preparing it, okay? The body is an instrument of the mind. And this is all Bob's material, by the way. Now this is the subconscious and this is the conscious. Now, something that I didn't know is that your conscious controls 2 to 4% of everything you do. 2 to 4%. The subconscious, 96 to 98% of all things that we do. Now you might be making choices in your life. You might be saying, I don't believe that. I choose when I go to the supermarket. I choose when I go to bed. This sort of thing. You do. But I'm talking about the deeper kind of choices. You probably go to the same supermarket most of the time. You probably buy more or less the same things most of the time. Okay? It probably doesn't occur to you to go into the supermarket and try something totally different. If you are, for example, I used to work in the Midlands and I used to work with a lot of Asians who are, by the way, lovely people. And I came across a very different way of eating, okay? And they eat totally different food. Now, it does not occur to me, it never occurred to me, to go into the supermarket and go, do you know what? Let's just try a totally different lifestyle. You probably eat more or less the same thing. You probably earn more or less the same amount over the years. Someone said to me, what's your financial thermostat? Just look over what you've been earning over the past 5 years. It's probably more or less the same. There's probably not a huge major spike. And if there is, it probably kind of levels out sometime afterwards, okay? You're programmed to certain things. And this is all from the subconscious. Now, this is where it gets juicy. So in your subconscious, you have something called a paradigm. Okay, this is what Bob teaches all about. Now, if you really want to control something, then this is something you're going to have to change. Now, a paradigm is simply, excuse me, it's a program that controls your beliefs and your habits. And it controls your habitual behaviour. And what Bob also teaches is that almost all of your behaviour is habitual. So it's very strange that we should try to change things on a conscious level, and yet this is really what's controlling us. Now, you might have some beliefs that are not really serving you, okay? You might have some things that you're aware of, or maybe that you're not aware of, are controlling your behaviour. And when I saw this, I thought, well, that's probably why I keep trying harder in my conscious mind, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to, I don't know, do new things and whatever. And then when I get there, I don't sustain it, because it's this that's controlling us. Now, something that's really interesting about the subconscious mind is that although it does a lot of thinking for us, it can only accept, okay? The conscious mind can accept or reject, okay? So when you come across an idea and someone goes, I don't like the colour of your car, you can go, you know what, I reject that thought, I like the colour of my car, that's why I chose it. That's fine. Now, if you were to have something happen repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. It goes from the conscious mind into the subconscious, okay? Now there's two ways that this happens. One is severe emotional impact, usually a tragedy, unfortunately, rather than something positive happening. For me, when my father died, that was quite a severe emotional impact that changed my behaviour because I had beliefs that then came into the subconscious. The other way is repetition, okay? And that is why if you were ever lucky enough to come across Think and Grow Rich, you will realise that the process he has is repeated, okay? This is why so many programs and personal development have repeated formulas whereby you do a lot of visualisation. You do it every day. You do it in the morning, you do it in the evening. You have gratitude practice, you do it in the morning, you might do it in the evening. You know, repetition is something that creates mastery, okay? I like what Tony Robbins says. He said, repetition is the mother of all skill, okay? Now, if this is really true, then as I say, this is what we want to change. And this kind of sits on a virus code on top of things like your goals and anything that you really want to do. I mean, have you ever thought, oh, I'd love to have a new car, new house, holiday, but I can't afford it? Your goal is, I'd like something new. Your paradigm says, no, you can't afford it. Is this true? There's always ways of earning more. But you probably are not even allowed to think that there's other ways of earning more. You probably don't even start to think of ways of earning more or making more money because your paradigm goes, no, you can't afford it. And this goal goes, I'd like a new car, a new house or holiday. Oh, you can't have it. Out it goes. Now this is why so many people experience this weird turbulence. And I'm just going to show this to you. Let me just get rid of this, rid of this, rid of this, rid of this. So a lot of people go like this. So here's the levels, okay? And you can call these levels of ones. They're actually levels of what's called vibrational energy, okay? Or awareness, okay? So let's say, for example, stick with me on this. You are here, okay? You're going along your life. I'm actually going to give this a level. This is you. You're going along on your life, you do the same thing, you kind of earning the same amount, going through the years, same type of friends, you might change friends, but same type of friends, same kind of scenarios and patterns keep coming up. You might be going, losing weight, adding weight, losing weight, adding weight. You know, some people call it gaining weight, same difference. And all of a sudden you go, I'd like a new holiday. And say your holiday is going to be super cool. Say you were going to go to the place of your dreams, wherever that is. Think of the place of your dreams right now. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, beautiful architecture and there's cities and fascinating cultures and there's markets and there's a beautiful white beach and there's sand and you can hear the waves and it's just magical and there's just freedom and you can walk around in your shorts and your flip-flops if that's what you want to do, and you're going with your best friend and you're going there and it's just fantastic. You can experience all the sights, you can go kayaking and you can go on the quad bikes and you can go to the spas and the resorts and you have a top 5-star hotel and your dream is here. Okay. Suddenly you're aware and you go, oh, I'd like that. I'd like that. Now don't forget, this is the goal coming into the subconscious mind. You need to get it here. Okay? You need to get it here. And all of a sudden you're like, woohoo! And you go, do, 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 do. Oh, wow, that's going to be amazing. I'm on this level of thought. I'm now more aware. I'm, never really had this thought before. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And then your paradigm goes, no, you can't afford it. You haven't got the money in your bank account right now to afford this. Okay? And you go, do, 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 do. Oh. Now I feel depressed. Because I really wanted it. And I felt emotionally engaged with it. I could hear the sea, and I could feel myself in my flip-flops and shorts. And now I don't feel so good. And then you go home at night and you're like, I still would really like it. I still hear the sea. I wonder what it would be like. So and so in the office went on a holiday. I'd still like a holiday. And you go do 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 do. Oh, now I can really feel it. I'm really engaged and really excited. Okay, let me have a look at a few holiday places. Let me get my phone in the evening. Let me get my phone and have a look and try and book some things. Oh, that's a price. Oh, I'm not sure I can afford the time off. Okay. Do, do, do. And you end up here. Maybe I best not look. Maybe I'm just setting myself up for disappointment. Let's just forget that idea. A few weeks later, you see holiday advert on the TV. You're there going, oh. My mind, okay, I've said no. The goal's gone out of my head. But now it's coming back in. I would still kind of like it. And I can either accept in my conscious mind, or I can reject. I do apologise for my poor handwriting there. And the paradigm you're thinking it's sat here, your holiday dream is sat here. I'll go back on those websites. I'll see if the price has changed. I'll see if they're doing a deal. Let me see if I can get some coupons from somewhere. Let me see what so-and-so in the office used. Maybe they got a cheap package, I don't know. Do, 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 do. Oh, they did get a cheap package. Oh, that's fantastic. Let me have a look. Oh, now something has happened at the office. I'll never get the time off. You see how this is happening? And we are going like this all the time. Now this can happen for months. This can happen for years. This is what was happening for me. I was going, I'd really like to start an affiliate marketing business. I'd really start to like my own business. To have confidence. No, I can do it. I know I have to think differently now. I've got the mentorship. I've got the resources. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to take action. Something happens. Oh, maybe it's not as easy as I thought it was. Okay, maybe I can figure this out. Oh, it's the first thing that I'm doing to sort this out isn't working back here. And so we never really get anywhere, okay? And this is what you want to stop, okay? You do not want to be going through these levels, okay? And it's all to do with this. So you want to get your goal in here, okay? Because when you get your goal in here, what happens? Is, if I just rub all this out, I would like a holiday. Here it is. I can see the sea. I can hear the waves crashing. I can see the beach. I can feel the softness of the sand beneath my toes. And your paradigm goes, no. And you go, I want this holiday. And you keep thinking about it. You keep visualizing it. You're emotionally engaged in it. It's something that you want for you. You don't want to go on holiday because your boss thinks it's good for you. Okay? I have never come across somebody who said, I went on a holiday that I really wanted because my boss said it would be really good for me in the business. No, you're doing something that you want to do. Okay? And your paradigm, your programs goes, no. Where is the money? You don't earn that much. Or even worse, what happens to me? You have the money in the bank and you don't feel like you can afford it. That is a money paradigm. It's called scarcity mindset. It happens to us all, especially if you've ever had a financial, emotional impact. Okay? But you keep going, I want this, I want this, I want this. And you keep looking at magazines. Now, your paradigm, your programs is going to go, ah, and you're going to go, woohoo, 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 because you are challenging your paradigm. Your programming right here is telling you the facts are you do not have this thing called money. And you say, I know, but I am going to find a way to get money. And your paradigm goes, well, how are you going to do this? And you say, I don't know, I don't need to. Because I know if I concentrate on something long enough, it's going to come into here. And my paradigm is going to go, oh, maybe I can find a way to get the money. Okay. Now, in the first instance, as I say, this is what shuts people off. Most people go, pachoo, right down here. If you are persistent, you will stay on this level. And you will change your core belief. Okay. Now, this is not an easy thing. This is why I am a student of the Proctor Gallagher Institute, because they are teaching me how to stay on the track. You will experience severe emotional turbulence. Your paradigm will punish you, okay? Because you're going against what it internally believes. Now, you might be thinking in your head, well, maybe I can find the money. If you don't really believe that in your heart, as I say, this is subconscious level. You're not programmed to believe that. You're not programmed to go out there and get the money. Because you've never really done it before, then this is what's going to happen, okay? But you manage to somehow stay on here and you manage to say, maybe I can find the money. How can I do that? Okay. Well, how do you stay on this level, first of all? Repetition. So, and this is normally something called visualization. For any of you who have ever watched The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, well recommended. Definitely a movie I'd recommend, because it's all about how to attract this, what you really want. Now, what you really want to attract is obviously the holiday, but you need the money to get the holiday. And it talks about the ways to do this and what you can really attract and how you can start to recognise it. And one of the things I love about The Secret is it's got so many different people in it. It's got people who are scientists, it's got people who are spiritual people, it's got Dr. Michael Beckwith in it, it's got quantum physicists in there, it's got people who are sort of thought leaders of the day. So now your mind is going, I'm going to look for ways to get money. Now this is your subconscious mind. You want to prove this. I want to ask you, have you ever thought about buying a car and suddenly that car is everywhere? You've never noticed it before, but it's on the road. Everybody's driving one. Almost every person. It's your subconscious mind. Okay. Have you ever worked with two people in an office? They do exactly the same job, or more or less the same job. We're working for the same company. One is super positive, okay, and when a problem comes, they go, oh, okay, let's look at the solution. The other one goes, when a problem comes, it's like the end of the world. Have you ever even had a friend who they're going through certain cycles in life, maybe relationships cycles, maybe health cycles, maybe they keep going on a diet, coming off a diet, needing to lose weight, going on a diet, coming off a diet, needing to lose weight. These cycles because of this, okay? And this is, as I say, what you want to change. So now you're looking around and you've gone, oh, maybe I can get a loan from the bank. Maybe I can, I don't know, borrow some money. Maybe I can do some extra shifts. And this is the start to come from your conscious mind, because your subconscious will feed back into your conscious and say, conscious, they really want this. I think they can maybe do it. Let's start looking for ways. Let's start looking for that car that they want on the road. Let's start looking for that money that they want. And you might start even just noticing pound signs. If you are really, really tuned with money, you might just notice pound signs. You might be going along and you see a poster, £50 down to 20, and you notice a pound sign. You're looking at money, okay? You start to get interested in things like your bank statements, okay? You start cutting down on things, and if you persist and then you take action and you continue to visualize and you stay on this level, guess what's going to happen? Ooh, there's the sea, there's the sun. Welcome to utopia, okay? Now, the next part that I really want to share with you is still about the paradigm. So, the problem with the paradigm is, it sounds so much like us. You see, the paradigm is very, very strong, okay? And even if you want to believe something different, it will make you believe that what you believe is true, okay? If you're saying, I can't afford it, then you will genuinely believe that's true, okay? And this is why staying on this bit is so challenging for people, and why you've got to have a few other things like persistence, which is something I'm now learning about, because your paradigm's going to do everything it possibly can to throw you off. You're going to say, oh, it doesn't feel right. You're going to say, you know, it's not the right time for me, I can't because I've got to look after my family first, I shouldn't want that because I have to look after my home, I have bills to pay, whatever it might be. It will do everything it possibly can to make you feel that what you initially believe is true, okay? And that's your paradigm. Your paradigm is just your programming. Now, I want you to do an exercise with me, because let's see. This person's dancing, they've got a leg coming off at an awkward angle. Because this, quite frankly, is full of BS, belief system. Okay? Now, where did these beliefs come from? When we say emotional impact, the other thing it comes from is when you are a baby. This is you as a baby, okay? Your subconscious mind is wide open. Everything that's going on is coming right in, okay? Now you might say, well, I know of 2 children who are siblings and they experience the same thing and they have completely different temperaments and behave completely differently. This might be true. Now you have to bear in mind that actually the 2 children are not experiencing the same thing, okay? Because they are in different rooms at different times, and even what one child sees opposed to the other, they are going to different classes, okay? They have different teachers, they have different classmates around them. Their experience is totally unique, okay? Now we are to a certain extent genetically programmed, okay? And there are also chemicals and things in the body that come into play. But generally, everything that you're experiencing is coming in through there. Now, for example, my paradigm with money is I was always taught to save, okay? I remember going into Birmingham Mid-Shires, very, very young. For those of you who don't know, that was a building society. I think it's still going. and I was so lucky to have extraordinarily generous grandparents on both sides. And I remember having a little book, and you'd hand over the money that our grandparents gave us, that we were given birthdays or Christmas. The lady would stamp the book, and that was my experience of money from a very young age. Now I still have the paradigm for saving, and it has served me massively. I don't have anything on credit apart from obviously my mortgage, and I just cannot thank my family enough for that. Now, where did that come from? Well, come from my parents. And where did they pick it up? Well, they picked it up from their parents and their life experiences. Okay, now it's true that environment is stronger than hereditary. I don't know if I said that right. That's why you have two completely different siblings, okay? Even twins, okay, they can be completely different, choose completely different things, because although they may look the same and you might think they're having the same experiences, they're really not, okay? For example, you might have twins, and you might, just because they're so similar, you might accidentally be giving, you know, when you give something to them, you might actually give it to the one child first, the same one. Now, that gives different signals to each child, okay? Even something as small as that can make a big difference. Because if that's repeated over time, one child's learned that they're always first. The other child learns they have to wait, and they're not going to be first. And that might continue to play very different roles in their lives and lead to different, you know, circumstances, which then lead to different circumstances, which then lead to different choices and different circumstances. So everything that's going on is dumped right in, okay? That was my phone, by the way, we're just going to ignore that. And then by the time you're like 3, something like that, it starts to go, no, this is your conscious, okay? But by that time, this paradigm is pretty much set, okay? And your behaviour is pretty much set. So you then start doing things which exist in your body, even later in your life, that maybe really isn't serving you, but you do it because that's what you know, that's what your parents did, that's what you're programmed to do, even if it's not getting you the results that you want. Most people say they want to earn more, for example, and yet very few people go out and actually make it happen, because they probably have a paradigm around money. They don't know they do, but if they look back at the last 5 years, last 10 years, their income probably hasn't increased dramatically, unless they've become aware they've gone up these levels. Okay. Now this paradigm, as I say, is full of odd beliefs, okay? And we want to get rid of some of those. So I want to do an exercise with you now. And I want you to take some time, and I want you to write down 5 beliefs, just 5 that you have. Now I want you to spend 15 minutes doing this, 15 minutes to write down 5 beliefs, because this is going to take some introspection, and it's going to take some deep thinking, okay? And if you need to go away and do a meditation, by that I don't mean to sit there and go like I used to think meditation was when I first came across it. I mean sit there and just concentrate on your breathing. That's all you have to do, and just let your mind be. And you might realise that your mind is full of stuff. It is running around, it is telling you you can't afford time to sit there and just relax. And that's the best time you need to meditate. It's also the hardest, okay? Now, when you've done that, when you've spent 15 minutes, and I want you to time this, guys, I want you to sit there and put it on the clock. Do not move until you have spent 15 minutes doing this, okay? You want to meditate for at least 10 minutes, and then spend 15 minutes writing down 5 beliefs. And then I want you to pick one belief, okay? Now this exercise, I'm going to warn you, may be a little bit painful, okay? And it's going to be worth it for you. And I want you to write down what What is your belief in here that you really think that you need to step on, basically? Because it is not your friend, okay? If your friend came up and told you that, you'd be like, shut up, okay, you are no longer my best friend. When did you pick it up? Was it true? Was it true then? Yes or no? Is it true now? And this is very interesting because normally at this point, is it true now? Things have usually changed. It's usually less true, as in people are like, oh, well, it's kind of true, but actually I've kind of done this and this has kind of happened and I'm not so bad at this anymore, and I have kind of moved on with my life, and no, I'm not 100% cured, but actually it's kind of less true now. I don't need to maybe give it all the attention that I was giving it before. Because here's the truth, as well as going up the levels, as I say, you can go down. And if you are wanting your goal here and you get here, and this belief is bringing you back down here, it is not your friend. So what is the cost? And this is the most painful part. Is it time? Is it money? Is it quality of relationships? Is it quality of life? Is it the cost of your dream home? You know, are you there going, well, I believed I could never afford my dream home, so I didn't ever really design it. But actually that means that I never really went for it, and I've wasted all that time. I wasted, 5-10 years being afraid to go for something that I could have had by now. Okay, and that's a painful realization, okay? And then I want you to do this, okay? Write a letter. Now, I want you to write a letter either to someone who was around at this time. When did it happen? Okay, and that might be to yourself. It might be to someone who you meant to love. It might be somebody who has passed away. It might be to somebody who you're no longer in contact with. And because you might realise that it's something that the time is gone and they've gone, but you're still hanging on subconsciously. And that's not really fair. You don't deserve to keep going through that again and again in your subconscious mind, because although you might not be reliving the experience mentally, in your conscious, it's in this bit. It's in this bit, and it's affecting what you do. Okay, and you'll have many beliefs, and you might start writing them down and go, oh my gosh, this is too much, this is too overwhelming. It's okay. This is becoming aware. Remember, when you become aware, you start to go up the levels and you're getting closer to your goal, okay? But there's no point having a goal if as soon as you get up to this bit, you're going to come back down. So we want to get rid of some of the things out of here, and we want to replace it with better things, because the body is an instrument of the mind. If we don't change this, your actions are not going to be sustained, okay? So that's what I need you to do. So I'm going to stop the video right here. I'm going to let you go away and do that. And I want you to do this letter in a certain format. So first of all, I want you to write, dear so-and-so. You don't have to tell me who it is. You don't have to share this with anyone. I want you to then write, I was angry, upset, whatever you initially feel. There is no shame in this letter, guys. I'm going to be truthful and honest when I say that I actually wrote on to my father, because I held on for until very recently, to be honest with you, about all the things I was so upset about, and all the things that didn't make sense to me, and all the confusion I'd been through, and all of the mental health problems I'd experienced as an unknown consequence that I wasn't aware of, and all the things that had held me back because I developed low self-esteem and all the things like that. So I actually started the letter and I said, I was angry when you did this, because these are the effects on me. And it was quite a sad letter, I'm not going to lie, and I did cry through it. And I'm going to honestly say that I spent 40 minutes on this letter, and by the time I had finished, to be honest, I did feel so much better, because you don't want it in here, you want it out. Now, many mentors, and Kim will recommend that you actually go out and you burn this letter, okay, safely. You don't have to. I've actually kept my letter. And it is locked away, so that for me that was enough, because I know that if I'm ever feeling sad, it's out of me, okay, and I can see the ink on paper, and I know that I don't need to hold anything inside it. I've already got it all out, and that is proof, because I can see the paper and the writing on it, okay. So start, I was angry and upset when, because, and then I want you to move on a little bit, and I want you to say, I understand, or I accept, or I appreciate, because it's probably true that when a person did whatever they did, or whatever happened, or whatever you did, or you decided at that time, you were not aware, and you were acting from this subconsciously, from your paradigm. And it's probably true that if it's somebody else, they were acting from this as well, okay. They may have consciously made choices that were unjust, cruel, undignified, arrogant, ignorant, whatever. But there was something happening probably on a subconscious level, something that you probably weren't aware of, maybe an experience that you weren't aware of, probably that they weren't even aware of. If you truly ask somebody, why did you do that? They probably don't really know, okay? And the truth is, whether it's hurting them or not, it doesn't deserve to hurt you. So I want you to write, I appreciate, or something along those lines. I accept, I appreciate, or I understand. And then I want you to move on. And I want you to also, if this is writing about someone else, I want you to also forgive yourself. I want you to forgive yourself for not being aware. I want you to forgive them for not being aware. And I want you then to thank them at the end of that letter. I want you to thank them because there's something good that's come out of that. Maybe if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't know this now, and you wouldn't be able to let go. As I say, it's not an easy letter to write. And I want you at the very end to tell them that you're moving on, okay? I want you to write, I release. I release the anger, this hurt, this pain, because I know it is no longer serving me. I wish you health and safety in your life. I wish you that you would become more aware. I wish you that you will be at peace, just as I will now be. I release this emotion, and I will not allow my thoughts to continue. I set myself free. Okay, something like that. And as I say, sign your name off, and I would encourage you to burn it, to be fair, at that point. Just go outside, burn it, and watch it go into the ether. Get it out, okay? That's all from part 1, and I'm going to leave you with that task. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in contact. Drop questions below. If you're not able to get in contact with me for any reason, I really do encourage you to get online and start watching things either by Kim, Bob, anyone from The Secret, somebody like Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn or Tom Bilyeu, or if you just type in personal development on YouTube, you are going to find a wealth of things. Now, everybody's slightly different. You've got people like Esther Abraham Hicks, who is very, very spiritual. She talks about these levels of awareness. And if you are totally new to this, I would really strongly encourage you to watch The Secret, just the original version. Thoughts are powerful things. I didn't really understand how powerful until I watched the Think and Grow Rich, the movie, because in there is an experiment that will blow your mind, and it shows how thoughts affect the structure of water droplets. I was shocked. I was like, my gosh, there is physical proof that thoughts actually are energy. Now, if you think about it, this is not so strange. It might still seem a little strange to you. But have you ever walked into a room and you pick up kind of bad vibes? Or you go to someone and you can just tell they're in a bad mood. They are not expressing necessarily any body language, or haven't said anything yet, but you can just tell they're in a not good mood. That's energy. You're picking that up. Some people pick it up better than others. I once had a friend who was very susceptible to energy. She knew in advance when a storm was coming, because she would get headaches and stuff. That's actually her picking up energy. Some people go, oh, it's the pressure. Yes, it is the pressure, but that's kind of a level of energy that's in the air, if you see what I mean. And her body was more susceptible than that to me. I was like, hey, what's the problem? There's going to be a thunderstorm. She was like, oh my gosh, my head is absolutely killing me. You know, so it's not that strange. It's about as strange as me saying there's air in this room. I can't see it, I can't feel it, I can't touch it. Well, I am touching it all the time, but I don't know that it's there. I have no proof with my eyes that it's there, and yet it's definitely there. Okay, and yet if I'd have said that to you before kind of all these things was proved, and I said, oh, there's air, you know, there's just all around me, you know, it's pressing on me, and I can feel, you know, I know that there's air, and you'd go, no, this room is empty, you know, air is not a concept, you know, it hasn't been discovered. What are you talking about? You're totally crazy. So if this is sounding a bit crazy to you, that's fine. This is a new way of thinking. Okay, remember, success is a science. Okay, it is a scientific process. Okay, so do the exercise, and I'll see you in part 2. Take care. Bye now.